All right, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna go ahead and make this one part 3. All right, part 3 of So you say you ready to fight? I want to start this one off, man, in addressing demonstrations, man. You know what I mean? It is in my opinion that based on history, based on civil wars in history, based on revolutions in history, since the conception of the Illuminati, May 1st, 1776, in which their first contrived revolution was the French Revolution. It is in my opinion, man, that and whites who have studied these subjects all say the same thing, that every civil unrest, okay, every revolution since the French Revolution has been started from start to finish by the Illuminists. Okay, I want you guys to understand and know this shit. They want this goddamn civil unrest to take place between blacks and police, okay? They want this shit to happen. And guess what? They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it too. They're gonna get it, all right? So you have to begin, all right, to do a whole lot of work and you educating yourself along with educating other individuals, man, on how to spot and identify these patterns that they all have, okay? All of them have patterns, man. Once they develop a system that works, they stick with it. And all of these things have a certain signature, okay? They leave their mark on these events, man, all right? You can go on YouTube, man, and look, they starting to slowly snatch these things down because we're standing on the verge of them putting one together right now. So what you're seeing now is a lot of the videos that was educating the people on false flags, how to identify them, you know what I'm saying, are being taken down, man, are being taken down, okay? So it's very important right now, while you have the opportunity to avail yourself of this information and to educate yourself on the inner workings, okay, of how they pull this shit off, man. You need to take advantage of it and avail yourself of this shit right now, man, because literally your life and freedom depends on it. The life and freedom of your loved ones depend on it. You have to stop being selfish, man, and you have to educate yourself and learn this shit to the point where you understand it fully. Seeking understanding is the objective, okay? Because I told you, once you understand the thing, man, then you can teach it to someone else, all right? So we're not merely watching the videos just to watch it one time and then, say, oh, okay, you know what I mean? We need to watch it to the point of fully understanding, and then you'll know if you understand it once you begin to try to teach it to someone else. And then when you're teaching it to someone else, if you find difficult, you need to rate how well you was able to, get the person to fully get what you were saying to them. If you're having trouble explaining it to them how this thing works, how these contrived protests and demonstrations work, you know what I mean? If you're having difficulty explaining it, then you need to go back and study it some more, okay? And study it some more, all right? You must become a student all over again. And a student means one who studies, okay? That's the definition of a student, one who studies, okay? All right, so now, I love this Baltimore one that they pulled off, the CNN one, because it is like quintessential false flag, crisis created demonstration, okay? It has all the motherfucking signatures of a crisis created event, all right? From start to finish, all right? I actually talked to people in Sandtown, and do you know that everybody I talked to was like, yo, we ain't even know this shit was happening. Yo, they literally swooped in that motherfucker, filmed that shit in like 20 fucking minutes and split. They did that shit that fast. So this was a planned event. And none of the people in the video were from Sandtown. I stood there playing the video. The video is very short. For people that I know have lived in Sandtown all their life. I'm talking about people who are well known in Sandtown. And like I told you, Sandtown is the Baltimore where Harlem is the New York. Sandtown is where all the motherfucking great theaters and shit of the 50s and 60s and 70s and shit, in which all the stars performed at where they came to Baltimore. They came to Sandtown. Pennsylvania Avenue, man. They came to the Avenue. And I need to even go farther back to the 40s. It was there where Billie Holiday and all them bought their heroin and all that shit. It was there where you had all the famous clubs and theaters and shit. So if Motown stars came to Baltimore, they performed on the Avenue in Sandtown, okay? It's a historic area. It's a 100% black area. You understand what I'm saying? Just like that, all right? So, the demonstration, the demonstration, or the fake demonstration rather, that happened in Sandtown. They had the hoodies on. That's the same goddamn thing they did in the Boston Marathon. The actors wore hoods on their head, okay? In Sandy Hook, all right, they had certain, they even had like a certain identifying piece of clothing on to help those who are in on the shit be able to identify one another by way of a certain article of clothing. Sometimes it's a certain article of clothing of a certain color, or it might just be a certain pin on the lapel, or they might wear suits. Our people have on suits. You know what I mean? The other people don't. It could be any type of thing like that. But it's your business that when you study these crisis-created events and demonstrations and so-called protests and shit, that you find, that you seek out the patterns, you seek out the signatures, you seek out the commonalities in clothing, the commonalities in behaviors and shit. All right, I actually seen one so-called protester go push another protester back, right? Go over to the side, say a little something to him, then they both go back into the crowd. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? The shit was just so crazy, and such bullshit. This shit goes all the way back to Martin Luther King in them days, man, in which King and them would already call ahead and have the shit worked out with the police to be arrested. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. And that shit takes place even today, man. With the arrest of so-called the leaders, the civil rights leaders that they pick for you, they will actually orchestrate and have it already worked out with the police to arrest this certain person. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And then listen, these motherfuckers have been funding and controlling black organizations who were so-called like real, upfront organizations in the civil rights movement, SNCC, you know what I mean, SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership, you know what I mean, all that shit, man. They've been funding and running them motherfucking organizations from behind the curtain forever. I told you the NAACP was started in, I think, 1902 or 1905. It was 1902. And they didn't have a fucking black president until 1975. It was started by Jews and had a Jewish president, for fucking 73 years. That's fucking insane. That's insane, man. But they run these organizations. Them funding these organizations and doing fake demonstrations and fucking protests is not no new shit. So don't sit up there and say, Elihu, you tripping and shit. Oh yeah, so now what, Elihu? Every goddamn demonstration you gonna say is a false flag or pretty motherfucking much. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing strange, ain't nothing changed. You know what I mean? If you walk like a duck, quack like a duck, smell like a duck, and cook and taste like duck, it's a goddamn duck. You know what I mean? And it's just that goddamn simple, man. Listen, yo, we cannot afford to mental masturbate, you know what I mean, with ourselves, yo, because mental masturbation means playing with your own fucking mind, playing with your own motherfucking mind, trying to trivialize, you know what I'm saying, the shit that I'm saying based on some little superficial ass, gay ass hang up you might have. about not liking me, or you know, I had a whole lot of motherfuckers that sit up there and use the argument that my usage of the word nigger. Now, look at all goddamn, you know, jewels that I drop and shit, and you got motherfuckers who sit up there and they won't listen to my lectures because I say nigga. You know what I'm saying? This is a word that they motherfucking grew up on. You understand what I'm saying? Like goddamn baby food. You feel me? And they won't say, and then you got the ones who so-called in the black conscious movement and shit, and they sit up there and say and try to pick me apart on me and my usage of the word nigga. But man, every goddamn teacher that I had and that I studied from said nigga. I don't know where the fuck y'all come from. You know what I mean? Umar say nigga. Copley said nigga. You know what I mean? Shit, all of them. Valentine, Hemet, Last Poet said nigga. Stokely Carmichael said nigga. H. Rap Brown said nigga. Huey Newton said nigga. Mumia said nigga. Shit, it's none of them that didn't say nigga. My man, what was my man? Dell and shit. You know, I ain't talking about Delbert Blair. I'm talking about the real Dell. You know what I mean? The real Dell. Dell said nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody said, nigga, I don't know what the fuck wrong with y'all, man. See, that's that new age, new bullshit, man. I think you motherfuckers that be trying to make that shit actually a fucking, y'all, you motherfuckers out there who try to actually make this shit an issue. You know what I mean? Who actually pour energy into trying to make this shit a fucking issue, the usage of the word nigga. You know what I mean? That's some white shit. That's some white shit that they use to try to undermine the real goddamn topics and shit that we ought to be addressing and shit. You know, that's what that argument is. It's an undermining tactic, yo. Trust me. Believe me, yo. That shit is an undermining tactic, you know, for punks and faggots, man. For real. For motherfuckers who are afraid to fight. You know what I mean? And they pour their goddamn heart and energy into that shit, you know what I'm saying? To try to really legitimize that shit. And they've been able to convince their goddamn self that, you know, it's an actual, you know, it's a real legitimate goddamn argument. That shit is not no fucking legitimate argument, man. It's some bullshit. It's what the fuck it is. Straight like that. You know what I mean? Straight like that, yo. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know? Nigga can be the most beautiful world in the world. It can do every goddamn thing in the world. You know? Shit. Hey, man, my motherfucking nigga. You know? And then you know, that's using it as endearment. You know? Nigga, when I see you, I'ma kill you. That's using it in the form, in a hostile way. You know what I mean? Oh shit, nigga. You know what I mean? That's using it as an exclamation. You feel me? Shit. Nigga, did you see that? You know what I'm saying? That little nigga is just such a versatile word, man. It's like the word motherfucker. You remember Bernie Mac did this whole comedy skit based on the word motherfucker? You know, you seen that motherfucking Bobby? That motherfucker owed me, you know, $20 motherfucking dollars. I called the motherfucker, but I got the answering tone. You know what I mean? You don't remember that shit. Shit. I went to his motherfucking mama house and she said the motherfucker wasn't there. You know what I mean? Shit. Hell yeah. You remember that shit, man? And that's just how nigga is, man. How the fuck you gonna love Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac, Cat Williams, and all that shit, and then when it comes to this, yo, you know, you niggas are so phony, yo. You so phony, faggot ass fucks. Can't stand niggas like that, yo. Just can't stand y'all, yo. And you niggas are, yo, real niggas and real sisters out there, yo, beware of these types. Beware of these types, yo. I'm gonna make a whole motherfucking video lecture on certain motherfucking types of niggas that are to be avoided at all costs. Because these motherfuckers will undermine the whole motherfucking movement. These motherfuckers will actually turn your ass in. Believe that shit. You know how many niggas I had, yo, who reported me to Google, yo, and mad that I'm still on this motherfucker? Because them motherfuckers are so goddamn dumb now because they keeping me around now just to fucking keep an eye on my ass. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't gonna fucking cut me now. You know what I'm saying? Cause they wanna watch what the fuck I'm doing now. Shit. It's like I remember Dick Gregory talked about he know his goddamn phone tap, cause he ain't paid his goddamn phone bill in 20 years and the motherfucker's still on. That's kinda how the fuck it is with me now. You know what I mean? Now they just do little faggot ass shit, you know what I mean, to try to get under my skin a little bit, you know? Like you know how when you just go on Google Plus and shit, and the regular home screen, where, you know, at the bottom it say, you know, tap for new posts or whatever and shit like that. Well, that screen right there, man, I could scroll down, yo, and be a fucking 100 fucking Google posts from Google in a row. You know what I mean? What's hot on Google? Recommended for you from Google. You know what I mean? All kinds of crazy ass Google shit. No other post, just Google shit. And they always do that shit after I drop a real serious motherfucking video. Let me tell you another motherfucking thing. My motherfucking views should be somewhere around 2,500,000, right? Right about now. Yo, they start turning my motherfucking view counter backwards. I actually had the motherfucker, when I reached it at the highest point, it was 1,600,000. I threw that shit up there, yo. I hit them views like that, yo, in about fucking 4 months, maybe. In 4 months, maybe. I went from like 135,000 views to 1,600,000 in 4 months. You know what I mean? That got their motherfucking attention, like, hold up. You know what I mean? Let's see who is this person and what the fuck is he talking about that he got that kind of motherfucking, you know, viewership on his channel. You know what I mean? Something's going on there. We gotta see what the hell he's talking about. You know what I mean? And when they came and they saw, they started, you know, sabotaging this shit and doing their little, you know, CIA shit. Little officer dirty trick shit. You know, that's how the fuck they get down, man. You know, that's how they get down. I love goddamn cherry blossoms and shit. I saw a sister and shit. She wasn't a sister actually. She was some lady from another country and shit that put up some pictures of cherry blossoms and where she was from, right? Yo, the cherry blossoms was big as shit, and I was like, damn, we don't got cherry blossoms that goddamn big where we from. Our cherry blossoms little teeny thing and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you know. You gotta watch out for certain niggas like that, man. I'm telling you, yo. These motherfuckers, yo. And look, and when you pick, listen, if you start a militia, right? All right? I don't want you to ever use that word. All right? That's the type of word. There's certain words like militia are words that you should be like the M word or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But nigga, the word nigga is not a threat to black people. It's never been no goddamn threat to black people. Motherfucking helicopter making its way in my motherfucking direction. You know what I mean? You got to always be vigilant, dog. Motherfucker, could take your ass out from fucking, you know what I mean? From fucking 3,500 yards in a goddamn copter. Man, do you know that in Vietnam, yo, the motherfucking Vietnamese used to lay on their back, yo, and shoot down motherfucking planes, yo, with their motherfucking, you know, with their military issue, with pistols they was bringing down planes by laying on their back and shooting up at them. Yo, when I seen that shit, yo, I was like, oh my God. See, yo, you know, it's been many wars throughout history, dog, in which small groups have brought down huge armies. Okay? Huge armies. There are fucking hundreds of examples of motherfucking small groups bringing down huge armies, you know, 10 times their size and shit like that. So stop being a goddamn punk and a pussy and shit and scaring yourself. You increasing the numbers in your own goddamn mind. They ain't even got to fucking release the numbers. Because you already made it larger than life. You know what I mean? I'm here to tell you, yo, that them motherfuckers are spread thin. Real thin, man. They don't want, they can't leave. They can't pull this up. Listen, check this out. Yo, I'm gonna tell you how thin they spread, yo, and how they stuck, yo, where you know they playing a game of chess. Okay, I'm gonna give you this example. They're playing a game of chess right now, and this game is the same old game. This ain't a new game started over. This is the same pieces on the board, the same game that they've been playing since goddamn Desert Storm. Okay. This is when the white people moved their first pawn 2 spaces up, okay? All right? Desert Storm was the first goddamn move on this chess game. And we're still playing that same game, okay? With the same pieces on the board, all right? But we're approaching the end game. Chess has 3 stages of a game. The beginning game, the middle game, and the end game. I told y'all that on the first video, all right? All right, so now we're moving now and beginning the end game of this game. All right, you following me? Okay, now they had their pieces, right? They fought so hard this last 20 years and just getting there. In the beginning of the beginning game, your goal is to get the pieces in position. That's all your focus is on the beginning game. All right. I told you in the 3 stages of a chess game, you had a beginning, the middle, and the end. And in the beginning, the objective is to get prime territory, get pieces in position. All right, that's your goal in the beginning game. Not to take any pieces, but to acquire position. All right. So now you get to the middle game. All right. Now the middle game is to use that position. All right, to create openings, to create weaknesses, all right? To knock holes in walls and shit like that, all right? And to also begin to bring out your rear pieces. You get your rooks in the game, all right? To get your knights in the game if they ain't in the game yet, okay? Once you get into the middle game and when you approaching the end game, you should have no pieces on that motherfucking back row except for your fucking king, all right? Because if you already into the middle game, right, and you still got a rook down in one corner, or God forbid, both rooks down in each corner, you understand what I'm saying? Then you might as well take the rooks off the board because you ain't using them. So you might as well just take them off the board and just hand them to your motherfucking opponent because they not in the game sitting back there. That's not being in the game, okay? So this is what your middle game is about, all right? And then, of course, the end game is to begin to cut off any escape routes for the king, because the objective of the game is to make the king, all right? To make the king. And so you have to use that same type of tactic and when we go about doing this shit. And I'm not just specifically talking about physical and weapons engagement of these motherfuckers. I'm talking about using the beginning game, middle game, and end game, and all that we do in this thing right here, yo. You know, in exposing certain motherfuckers. You know what I mean? These are all moves within this game that we must do, okay? Eliminating spies, eliminating, all that kind of shit. You know, educating the people and everything like that. You know what I mean? So right now, let's say we in the beginning game, all right? In which we really is in the end game for real. But if we do the shit right, man, we can start as of this point. If this was the start point to say, like, okay, from this point on, we're going to get serious and we get ready to start, making some goddamn moves to try to, win this goddamn, I hate that word win, but for lack of a better word, to, win this goddamn battle. I didn't say war, I said battle, okay? Battle, all right? So, the beginning game is in play, all right? Some of the things you need to do in the beginning game, as far as position, like I told you, preparation and shit like that. You start getting that water and shit together. That motherfucking non-perishable canned goods, especially the water. Water will become as valuable as gold when you get into a situation in which food becomes a lack. You know what I mean? And water becomes a lack. Then water, a fucking half a gallon jug of water becomes a bartering tool. You know what I mean? That you can trade for all kinds of shit. because they showed you in Katrina, you know what I'm saying, that they will cut off the food supply and the water supply. That's one of the first things you do in any motherfucking war is to gain control of the supply lines. You know, how do these people get their outside supplies as far as clothing, food, you know what I mean, ammunition, all the things that they need, you know what I mean, that they don't produce for themselves. Is it coming in by way of railway? Then get control of the motherfucking railways. Is it coming in by way of air? Then you need to get control of the motherfucking landing and taking off strips and shit like that, and set up a way and means to bring down motherfucking aircraft when they overhead. You know what I'm saying? Is it coming in by way of sea? Then you need to set up and have control of the motherfucking ports and the coastline. You understand what I'm saying? As well as put out patrol boats out in the water to seek out and find these supplies, you know, trying to sneak in. That kind of shit, man. So this is the begin game of being, you know, setting it up where we, you know, where we gonna have to get down with these motherfuckers. So you need to start saving motherfucking food and water, right? And then they also suggest that you have 1,000 rounds per caliber for every weapon that you own, okay? And then there's certain weapons that you definitely need to have. And I'm gonna run through a couple. You need to have a good ass knife. I suggest you have the Rambo type. You know, they're approximately like 12 inches. You might have about a 5-inch handle and shit, and about, you know, a 7 or 8-inch blade. You know what I mean? It's best to find ones that are all one piece of 440 steel, where the handle, you know what I mean, and the hilt is not separate from the blade. You know what I mean? They make them like that, all one piece. The handle is 440 steel. The hilt is 440 steel as well. You know what I mean? So these are the type of things you need to find that. You're going to need a good machete. You don't want no big, long-ass machete. You don't want a 3-foot machete, okay? I mean, it's all right to have that shit if you plan on, you know, I don't know. It could be very useful, too, you know, especially if you have to retreat into the woods, because that is going to be an option, yo. Retreating into desolate places that can give you some cover, that has dense forestry, is going to be essential, yo, because you cannot remain home when they begin to do door-to-door gun confiscations, because along with the confiscations, they're going to have a list of certain individuals that's going to be also confiscated, if you get my understanding. You know what I mean? So you're going to have a map, all right? You're going to have, I said, a knife, a machete, a map. You're going to have to learn how to read a motherfucking map, okay? You may even need a compass, although you don't need a compass if you just understand the basic way that the motherfucking cosmos work. You know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You understand what I'm saying? Based on that premise alone, you should be able to tell, you know, north, south, east, and west. You know what I mean? So, you know, let's keep going. You also should have one rifle, okay, with a scope. Something that you're able to take down the target with from 100 yards, okay? For those who not sure of 100 yards, that's the length of a football field, okay? Always learn to use other things that you can identify, that you do know how to identify with, as far as distance, length, width, and things like that, all right? To you know, as a scale for you to know distance and understand distance. So when I say you should be able to take down, you need a rifle that you, with a scope that you could take down a target from 100 yards, that's a pretty much cool distance. 100 yards to me is approximately about maybe a little less than a quarter mile, all right? A little less than a quarter mile. Any of y'all who ever drag raced or any of that type of shit, you know what I mean? That's about it. Or 440 meters if you ran track. You know, that's about a 440. You understand what I'm saying? So learn to use things, right? Learn to use things that you can compare, you know, things that you are able to identify with, you know what I mean, to, you know, gauge distance and things like that, all right? Another thing you're going to need a 12 gauge shotgun, all right? So you got a knife, a good knife. I mentioned a 12-inch Rambo knife. You're gonna need a file. I use a metal file to sharpen my motherfucking knives. You know what I mean? Not no with fine with fine you know what I'm saying? You don't want no metal file that's used to fucking grind away steel and shit. You only sharpening the knife, so you don't want no rough file. You want a fine file, and you can get a file like that for sharpening knives and shit. You know, they cheap. These are things you should go to the fucking Home Depot or hardware store and shit and just pick up. You know what I'm saying? This is a like the list I'm going to give you is like a fucking $100 list, easy. You could get machetes, man, for like fucking as low as $10 in this high, and on up. They ain't high anything. I got a fucking I know that motherfucker probably about 3 feet. It's about from the ground to my motherfucking hip to my waist and shit. I got that motherfucker for like $20. You know what I mean? $20, some nice thick steel. But that's, like I say, that's a little long. You really want a machete where the blade is about 2 feet, foot and a half, a foot and 3/4, somewhere like that. Anywhere from between, I'm talking about the blade. I ain't talking about the handle. Where the blade is about a foot and a half, okay, to 2 feet at the most. But that's still long to me. I prefer a foot and a half blade. All right. Okay, what else you'll need? So I said a shotgun, I said a rifle with a scope, 12 gauge shotgun. Oh, you're gonna need a decent handgun, okay? A decent handgun. I prefer that you have one automatic, semi-automatic handgun, you know what I mean? And I don't suggest 9mm. 9mm is the flavor that they savor on the streets and the ghettos and shit. It's not really a stopping weapon. I mean, I'm not saying that it don't have killing power, but it's really not a stopping weapon. I know many niggas that have been shot